India has just achieved a major milestone in the Himalayas. The breakthrough of the 14-kilometer-long Zojila Tunnel brings the country one step closer to creating an all-weather road link between Kashmir and Ladakh. Once completed, the Zojila Tunnel will become the world's largest, longest bi-directional road tunnel at such a high altitude. For decades, the Zojila Pass remained vulnerable to heavy snowfall, avalanche, and weather-related closure, often cutting off Ladakh from the rest of the country for months. The tunnel aims to change that reality forever. Tell us, what were the challenges of this tunnel? What makes it different? What makes it safe? Because a lot of people have said, there is no side tunnel to it. What were the challenges? Because today is the day to celebrate the fact that it has happened. So what makes it very unique, and what will it give Indian forces from the strategic perspective, sir?
Good evening. First of all, I think today is a red letter day in the history of this country. It's a dream come true, because I still remember 15th August 2010. I had taken over as the chief engineer Beacon, and on the 19th, when I had formally taken over, I flew down to Zojila. That time, this feasibility study was on with an Austrian company, with an Indian JV partner, and it was just languishing at 1 to 2%. So when I called, there was a army officer with them who was looking after this project. When I asked him why the delay, so he was quoting, certain issues which were there at that high altitude, because that terrain is very treacherous there. So since it was my first visit and the first project which I had to see, so I told him, in case if you don't perform, I have no other option but to, cancel your project on risk and cost. So from there, it started. Now, this is not just one tunnel which was there. It had two feasibility studies going. One was at Z mode, which was 5.9 kilometers, and this Zojila Tunnel, which initially the feasibility study was for 13.9 kilometers, including a lot of cut and cover tunnels, snow galleries and all, which had to be provided to make it all weather. It is not just these two tunnels. So there's a little, before we got onto this tunnel, I, as a director of military operation, there was a problem of the Zojila Pass. If you know, there are 4 jigs. So there was a question of passing the tanks across as a strategic deterrent. So I endorsed that project as a director of military operation, and as luck would have it, within 2-3 months, I got posted there as the chief engineer border roads and had to execute this project. So when I went up there on the top of Zojila Tunnel, so I asked my company commander task force as to when do we, finish this zig, connecting the Zojila Pass and ensuring better movement of the trucks which cross the Zojila every day and get stuck there because of various reasons, because they were very, very difficult gradient road there. So he told me, sir, we have time up to August next year, that is 2011. I said, no, it'll be done before the snow falls. So we got onto the job. He said, no, sir, the Amarnath Yatra is on and whatever. I said, no excuses. We have to do it. It's a national requirement and for national security. And would you believe it? 25th October that year, the snow fell and we crossed the tanks across on loaded transporters across the Zojila on 15th October. And initially what I had endorsed was that the tanks had to get down at Sonamarg and thereafter go on their own steam. So this was the first milestone which he achieved on the strategic importance of getting a zig. From the second zig, we just took it onto the Zojila Pass and finished the other 2 zigs.
So,
now,
coming to the question, if you recall that Silkyara also happened, a lot of people are saying, what makes it tough? What makes it completely secure for our army?
You see, completely secure means, let me finish the first, I'll just come to that point. So in the part of that connectivity was the Z mode tunnel. There's a little, interesting story to this. So when the Austrians came first with the Z mode tunnel, they told us that, it's a 2.9 kilometer tunnel. I said, is it going to be all weather? Because the first term of reference is all weather connectivity. Those said that we don't know. So I said the second term of reference is that you have to consult SASE. Have you done that? They said no. So we got the SASE in and we got another report made from them for 5.9 kilometers. So then they started asking me, we done 2 reports, so we want double the money. I said, no, the first thing is, the fault is yours. So it can't happen. So that tunnel from 2.9 got to 5.9. Now the question you asked about from secure from the national point of strategy, that terrain is, very, very fragile. The geophysical nature of those mountains which are there, they're fragile. They're younger mountains, younger Himalayas. So it is very tough. First of all, when you have to do a feasibility study, it means, which I told in that Silkara tunnel also collapsed. When there was no feasibility study, I said possibly not done. Because when you do a feasibility study, you have to, right from the top of the mountain, the overburden which is there, right down to the tunnel where the tunnel is passing, you have to cut cores of that rock and take it out, mark it, put it, understand the rock structure, the density and everything, and how much overburden has to come. So that's the most important thing which we had to do, which I ensured had to be done. And once you do that, I don't think there is a possibility of the tunnels failing like the one happened in Silkyara. So, and it is done on the NATM technology, which you're saying, the Austrian technology.